Okay, everybody, once again, welcome to the April 24th, 2025 meeting of the Eastham Board of Health. This meeting will be video recorded and broadcast over local access channel 8 and through the town website at www.eastham-ma.gov. We have some opening statements.
So just to let you know, we have a training that has become open to you, should you wish. Shellfish safety farm to table training will take place on May 21st from 10 to 12 at the Cultural Arts and Municipal Building in Harwich. You can go to our town website to register for that. Also, our Eastham Community Fridge continues to get deliveries every Thursday, and please check the town Facebook page or call ahead if you'd like more info on that. And also with the summer season starting up, we are beginning to open up hotel motels, pools, and seasonal establishments. So those are all being scheduled for opening and all that. That's it.
Thank you. All right, anybody else have an opening statement? No? All right. If not, the next thing on the agenda is a public hearing. This is about 157 Brownell Road in Eastham. It's, there was a notice to appear before the Eastham Board of Health for violation of the State Environmental Code Title 5, 310 CMR 15.3. At property located at 157 Brownell Road in Eastham, map 23, parcel 2. So now I'm not sure what the process is for the other statements that will be made. Is anybody here? Is Mr. Moot here or on screen on Zoom? I don't see his name. Okay, so nobody's here and he is not here. There's a violation of the regulations I just cited. Numerous attempts have been made to contact Mr. Moot. You were ordered to retain the services of a professional engineer to design a conforming Title V septic system to service the dwelling, to follow Eastham Health Department and Board of Health procedures for approval of a new septic design and retain the systems of a licensed septic installer for the installation of a new septic system once approved. This is all because the current house and system pose imminent threat and danger under current Massachusetts law and Eastham regulations. The violations have not been corrected, is my understanding to date. There has been some but minimal communication in terms of efforts to remediate the situation, which is dire as there continues to be coastal erosion and the threat that the house, septic system, leach fields, et cetera, tumble into the ocean continue to be real and serious. We are authorized as a Board of Health to sanction this non-conformance in the amount of, I think, $200 a day from the date that the first notice was filed. Which in my calculation is about, that was January 29th, 2025. I believe that's about $17,000 in sanction at $200 a day. So that's just my summary of where I believe we stand. We don't have any other information. The house continues to be at risk, imminent risk of falling into the ocean.
Septic system first.
Septic system first. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of put on the record where we are, why we're having this public hearing, et cetera. Okay, Fancy?
Question, so.
He did, and you can see the letter that the Conservation Commission sent to him. That was in your packet.
I see the letter.
Letter from Conservation.
Yeah.
Yep.
She asked if he appeared.
He did not. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. No, he did not appear there either.
Is the house occupied?
Sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not. I don't actually know what it's not a year-round occupancy. He has another dwelling in another state.
And it's not a rental or anything.
No.
So we could also issue an emergency order for an immediate cessation of discharge, knowing that someone is sometimes there.
If you want. I'm sorry. Sorry.
So there are we can issue an emergency order and we can impose a fine, in order to address this situation, and get some remediation, to protect our shoreline.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Your mic's not on.
At the bottom,
bar.
there.
Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry. There was also an email from Mr. Moot, which I couldn't quite understand what the gist of that was.
Said he was exploring other options.
He said something about a short-term usage. I don't know what he meant by that. But we don't know, but because he hasn't
He is not complied.
He's not complied. So should we make a motion to,
Oh, let's look at-
oh, sorry.
Do you have comments or thoughts you would like to?
No, I just wanted to know if
Okay,
it was being used now.
okay, sorry, Francis, before we,
Since the notice of public hearing was sent, we've had no, we may have had one other communication. But no permit has been pulled to remove the system.
Does the Conservation Commission also levy fines on their own?
They didn't on this instance. They asked him to submit information on what his plans are, I believe.
Well, I'd just like to say that from all these documents, he's been given ample time to respond. He hasn't responded. It's a dangerous situation for public health reasons. There was a similar story in Wellfleet we all read about, with a house about to tumble into the bay. And that house was taken down eventually. So I feel that we really have no other option but to levy the fine.
well, can we also issue an emergency order for immediate cessation of discharge? Pumping and hauling waste out,
What would that be, Hope?
no more discharge. Stop using the residence. Or anyway,
I don't
stop,
know that that's the route we have to take right
Okay.
now,
okay,
because the dwelling is otherwise habitable. And,
well, it's just discharge, so you could stay there, just don't,
well,
Use the
why stay
system.
there then?
well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. Or we could give the homeowner a set number of days to comply, and then say that an emergency order will be issued and a fine will be levied.
I
So-
see Hillary on the screen.
Oh, okay. Hillary, did you want to comment on this?
Was trying to get my hand up, but I had paused
I'm
in that.
sorry, I wasn't looking that way.
I was gonna say that the Conservation Commission ordered him to submit a demolition and deconstruction plan. He
Mhm.
also did not show up to that meeting. And we've only had one bit of correspondence from him since we sent we sent him a number of letters and then we sent the order. He's had a number of different people out to the site advising him. But the longer he waits and the more he investigates, the more dangerous the situation is going to become. I think our last discussion might have been with Jason Ellis, and he felt like the house was going to go before the leach field. So I think the fine is necessary at this point because we've asked him and we've advised him of multiple different scenarios which he could do in the short term, and he's chosen to do nothing but continue to investigate.
Okay, and would you then agree that the maximal fine is appropriate, which my calculation was $17,000, but that's somebody can double check me on that.
Plus-
I think our goal is
$200 there.
compliance,
Yeah,
right? So if we
Think
have
what,
the goal-
Hillary? That was cut off.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, I think our goal is compliance.
Yep.
And I think no matter how much we fine him, what we ultimately want to see is that leach field removed and him either convert his tank to a tight tank, permit a tight tank, do something along those lines. So I'm inclined to send him a letter with a $200 fine following the hearing, and then let him know that every day of non-compliance, he will incur an additional $200 fine, and then commence the fining from today. Because he was invited to the meeting, we sent him certified mail, we sent him regular post, we emailed him. I mean, he's had ample opportunity to come and talk with us.
so the fine levy would be $200 and then beginning today, and then $200 daily thereafter until there is resolution to the satisfaction of the town.
Correct.
That too.
But he was first informed of this in December.
Oh, it's been months, absolutely.
So I don't,
Months before that as well. I mean, we do have to come to kind of a date agreement on when we're gonna start. And I think where you're going is that today is day one because this is when you guys are hearing it
Yeah.
and move forward from there.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but, okay, so then let me propose, try and do this, a motion to fine, and now I just lost his name, Mr. Moot, a fee of $200 a day, beginning today, that will be imposed daily thereafter until he follows the, orders included on the document sent to him by the town on March 12th, 2025. Which reinforced the initial January order to retain the services of a professional engineer to design a conforming Title V septic system to follow Eastham Health Department and Board of Health procedures for approval of a new system, and to retain the services of a licensed septic installer for installation of the new septic system once approved. And unless and until all of those conditions are met, the $200 fine will continue. Yes?
I know you're making motion,
Yep.
but I really think that he was informed of this. This was January 29th.
Mhm.
He was notified, he was told of the fine, and he did not respond.
Mhm.
So I feel that he really has incurred the violation since he never responded to that. And I feel that we should fine him to that date. That's what I feel.
That's the $17,000.
Yeah, I know. That's what that's just how that's how I feel about it.
Okay.
So
Well,
I will, you can make the motion and I'll just.
that's the motion, but let me pause for a second. And Hillary, let me go back to you. Do you have any, you proposed the starting today versus Francie's starting in January. Like you said, we want a response, whatever it takes.
I mean, ultimately, it's up to you, right? I'm more compassionate, and that's just because you're a board, and you have more authority than I have. So you can absolutely fine him the $17,000. That is within your jurisdiction to do. I just feel like understanding he's never going to pay that. We may as well start smaller, but I have no problem. If you want the 17,000, go for it, and we'll do that. It doesn't make a difference to me.
That was my thought, because I don't think we have much enforcement power, and sometimes people don't take anything seriously until money
Don't,
gets.
we do,
Do have the enforcement power,
we
but
do.
that's a pretty large number and we're already having issues with communication and not getting even the smallest of things that.
But
What if, I'm trying to thread a needle here. So what if we say we're going to impose the penalty going back to the January date, which would be $17,000, unless we are in receipt of these three pieces of information within a date certain, within 3 to 5 days, a time frame. So give him some time to get his act together. He's been out there, he's talked to people, so perhaps he'll just find somebody.
Do you think that's, I mean, we want him to act.
We want him to act,
Want him to act.
exactly.
We all agree with that. So, I mean, you could do it that way, or you could say, $200 a day starting now until these violations are cured. So,
I don't know that 3 to 5 business days is enough time for
Okay,
us to.
well, that was
communicate legally.
That was
This
an
is
idea.
really up to you guys.
what?
You
Susan,
said
really- it
3 to
really
5
is-
wasn't enough, time. I mean, it doesn't need to be 3 to 5. It could be 50. I mean, it could be something, whatever is more reasonable, but a date certain so that we compel an action within a
7 to
reasonable
10
time.
business days?
Well, because we're gonna send it out certified, return receipt, regular mail, and send an email. So you
So
want,
what would be a reasonable amount of time for someone to actually contract for these 3 points?
Well,
Is a
given the
month-
fact that he was supposed to have been doing this since
I
January.
understand that, but what I'm saying is that, I think that having $200 a day fine, and if it's not acted on within a month, then the original $17,000 are going to be,
I think 30 days are pretty standard.
30
We
days.
can get action within 30 days, even getting a contractor out there. Well, someone out there to do the plan.
So so as I understand it, it's either we fine him from the date of service of this enforcement order, with the proviso that we're giving him 30 days notice to come up with a plan to cure this violation, correct?
Yeah.
Or we're fining him starting today, $200 a day with no proviso.
I think Hillary has some input.
Yes, some
Oh,
comments.
there's a
yeah.
hand up.
Sorry, that's fine. I was just gonna add that the Conservation Commission gave him 60 days from their meeting on April 8th to submit a deconstruction protocol for removal of the dwelling septic system and the well.
Okay, so we're dovetailing onto that because we're giving him, now it's the end of April, we're giving him 30 days from the Board of Health, which is around the same time
Yeah,
frame.
absolutely, because I think he was ordered to present at the June 10th meeting. So that corresponds well with what the Conservation Commission required.
Okay. So what do we?
So I don't know what would be the better path to levy this, to say that we're fining him from the date of enforcement. But he has 30 days to present his plan.
Or we just say he has 30 days to present his plan. If he fails to do so, then we impose a $200 day fine
Going
back to
January 29th.
January.
Going back to January.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds I guess, most reasonable. Instead of saying we're fining you as of today.
Right. We're just saying, we're gonna give you the 30 days to be consistent
With the Conservation Commission.
Conservation Commission to address these 3 points. Should he fail to address those 3 points, a fine of $200 a day, beginning January 29th, 2025, to
original
Whatever the-
notice of
Until it's cured.
until that date will be imposed.
Okay. I think that's
Okay.
good.
Is there a motion?
That was a motion. Sorry. The second?
A second, all right.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Close public-
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So we close the public hearing and move on to the Board of Health agenda items, starting with variances. The first one is 365 Higgins Road, Josephine Fellers Realty Trust. And welcome.
Good afternoon, Stephanie Sequin with Rodger and Wilcox, and I'm representing the Josephine Fellers Realty Trust, which is the owner of the property at 365 Higgins Road. And we're requesting a variance from the your environmentally sensitive area regulations, which require nitrogen reduction on environmentally sensitive lots. This property is 18.7 acres. It extends from Higgins Road all the way down to Cape Cod Bay, and since it abuts Cape Cod Bay, it is put into the environmentally sensitive lot category. It is not an environmentally, it's not in a natural resource area, nitrogen sensitive area. Currently, there's a 5-bedroom house that is located very close to the top of the coastal bank that abuts the beach. It is an eroding coastal bank. Back in 2012, the family was proactive and replaced the original cesspools with a new Title V system. The leaching system is, or the entire system is located more than 100 feet from the top of the bank. There's a pump chamber, and then it flows by gravity from the house to the existing system that's well inland from the bank. The bank has continued to erode, and now the building itself is in danger of going over. So they are proposing to move the existing house 115 feet away from the coastal bank, installing a new septic tank on the inland side of the house, and then connecting to the existing distribution box and soil absorption system. But because, again, this is technically an environmentally sensitive lot, your regulations require that we include an IA system. Due to the extraordinarily large lot size and the fact that the structure and the sewage disposal system are located well over 100 feet from the coastal bank, we are requesting a variance from that requirement to allow the existing standard Title V system to remain in use. Just as an illustration of what is being proposed to allow the existing standard system for 5 bedrooms on 18.7 acres, I provided nitrogen loading calculations. The nitrogen concentration from this existing 5-bedroom house on 18 acres is 0.53 parts per million. In comparison, a conforming situation, if you had a 5-bedroom house on 50,000 square feet and had a nitrogen reducing IA system, the nitrogen concentration from that conforming scenario would be 3.5 parts per million. So even with the standard system, we are having a lower nitrogen concentration. So that's it. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Excuse me, could you just let me know which number attachment it is? Because I'm having a hard time
Number
finding.
2.
Number 2, thank you.
What is the rate of erosion in that area? I'm just curious for the future. And
I do not know that.
I mean, is that move in terms of, are they moving the house far
far enough away, yeah,
away?
basically, yes. I mean, and would we want really to see an IA system because we are close to the coastal bank?
Mary, do you have any idea the rate of erosion there?
Well, first of all, we're actually moving the house 130 feet back from the bank. The house itself is going back 115 feet. Some years there's absolutely no erosion, and other years there could be a big 4-foot, 5-foot chunk. When I was young, there used to be quite a path
I'm
Oh,
so sorry to
Can you
interrupt
come
you.
up to the,
Come up.
I'm sorry, it's for the people who are on Zoom, I apologize, but that way they can hear you. Thank you.
Would you like me to repeat that?
Yes, and just introduce yourself, please.
Okay.
I'm sorry, thank you.
Very good. I'm one of the trustees of the Josephine Fowler's Realty Trust. We have been keeping tabs on the rate of erosion, and as I mentioned, it is erratic. You know, I expect all of you are aware that some years are worse than others, particularly winters where the ice isn't covering the bay. We tend to get more erosion at that time.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to say without looking at the figures. I don't really recall, but it could be a foot a year if you want to take an average. But also, we're actually moving the house back 115 feet, which is going to put it 130 feet from the bank.
No, that's all good. I'm just trying to project to the future and making sure that if we approve this, we do in a manner that is respectful of our requirements. Yeah.
I think as a condition, it would be any changes to what's proposed right now, like someday when you may have to move the house again. Never know. That has to come back to you then too. At which point we may need IA, but that, who knows when that is?
Right. Yeah, we
But
don't know.
Right now, the nitrogen loading to square footage of lot, that's what we're talking about right now.
Understood. Just making sure that
Yes,
that we're
absolutely.
covering our responsibilities.
Yes.
Nancy?
No, I just, I mean, it satisfies, I think that the project satisfies, public health requirements in the town. Water, is there town water? No town water?
We have a dug well.
You have a well? I guess no need for, I mean, the size of the lot, I guess, abrogates the need for connection to town water.
Yeah, I mean, no, the size of the lot is a beautiful big lot. I'm just more thinking of the distance to the coastal bank, which is eroding, so we don't find ourselves in a bad place in a few years. That's all. Lena, did you?
Just have a quick question. Stephanie, is the well on the property?
It's a shared well, is that
Yes.
correct?
Oh.
So it is on the adjacent property, which is theirs as well.
Oh, it is also your property?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It originally was one lot, was it 25 acres total?
34.
And they just divided it into two lots.
It might
But they are
also be a
both held by the trust.
Okay, it might also be a condition to add that, at the time that that property is sold to anyone other than within the trust, that the well be placed on 365 Higgins, whatever. Yes,
Mhm.
because it's not on 365 Higgins right now.
Good catch.
Should we add that?
Yeah, she said, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
So so the variance that you're requesting is not to have to put AI on the septic.
Correct.
It's your variance. Okay.
So that goes to the overall large size of this lot.
Yep.
all right. Any other questions? All right, I will make a motion to approve this request to have a standard system rather than an IA system with the following conditions: that there be no increase in habitable or occupiable square footage without Board of Health review and a butter notification. Oh, a butter notification. I forgot to ask. Are there any abutters in the room or on Zoom who would like to speak to this? I apologize.
Okay.
No hands. Okay, my apologies. I'll continue. Number two, the designer is to verify the proper operation of the system prior to the issuance of the certificate of compliance. Final inspection will be done by the Eastham Health Department. The well is to be placed on 365 Higgins Road in the event of of sale of
Abutting property.
abutting property to anyone outside the trust. Got it? Okay. And the Board of Health approval is valid until April 24th of 2026. Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, aye. All right.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. That's the block. All right. Next variance is 100/110 Ellis Road, the Bull Family Trust.
Attachment number 3.
Great. I have them all open. This is a problem.
Good afternoon, board members. Bob Reedy, engineer with JM O'Reilly and Associates. Here representing the Bull Family Trust, owners of 100/110 Ellis Road. Ed Bull, one of the property owners, is on the Zoom if you have any questions for him. What we're proposing, I just give you a little idea of the existing conditions. The existing property is right on Town Cove, not in a natural resource nitrogen sensitive area, but nearly the entire property is within the 100-foot buffer zone to the coastal bank. It's one of those small lots right on Ellis Road there. The existing property has a 4-bedroom dwelling on it, and also a detached garage, which includes a bathroom. So the existing septic situation, the 4-bedroom dwelling is served by a Title V septic system, which includes a pressure dose leach field. And then the garage with bathroom is served by an older Title V system. What the client is proposing to do is to tear down the garage and build a 1-bedroom ADU, roughly in the same footprint as where the garage currently is. Because of the size of the lot, we're at 21,000 and change of square footage and buildable upland. We are not allowed to add any bedrooms to the lot from what we currently have. So we had a site walk through with the property owners and Susan and came to an agreement about what remodeling could be done within the 4-bedroom dwelling to convert it to a 3-bedroom dwelling so that the total 4-bedroom flow remains the same on the site from existing to proposed. What we're proposing to do is to eliminate the older Title V system that serves the garage and instead combine the flow so that all the septic flow goes to the existing pressure dose leach field. And then what we'll be doing is adding in an Advantex IA treatment system in order to meet the nutrient regulations from the town. We are also asking for a variance from setback distances for the Advantex tank itself. Again, this is just as a result of the coastal bank taking up, the 100-foot buffer zone, taking up the entire property. We're trying to push as far as we can away from the coastal bank. So we're asking for a variance to get 5 feet from the front property line as opposed to holding the required 10 feet. And again, the same thing, we're really just asking for a variance to not put in a reserve area because we don't have any extra space here. We would propose to remove and replace in the event that a new septic system was ever needed. I think I've covered most everything here, and I'd be happy to answer any questions the board has about the project.
One quick question, then I want to open it up to abutters. How far from the coastal bank are you? Sorry, I'm trying.
Now, is it the existing leaching facility? Everything's within 100 feet. But it's remaining existing, yeah. Outside of 50, but within 100, yep.
So, and what's going in will,
So the same leaching facility is remaining in place. It's in good condition. It passed inspection. It's a pressure dose leaching facility. So it's really what we would have been putting in anyway if we were putting in a new facility. And we're simply connecting to it and combining the flow because the design flow is not changing from existing to proposed. So instead of having 2 standard Title V septic systems, what we'll have instead is 1 combined IA septic system.
I guess the good thing about the IA is that we will have to report it. So that, I mean, it just to make sure that we're protecting the waterways. Okay, before I go any further, are there any abutters on Zoom? Please raise your hand if you would like to make any comments about this proposal, since there is a variance requested. Anybody? Nobody in the room? Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Going down, Elena or Francie, do you have questions?
See, so you're not moving the system on the property.
The existing leaching field is staying right in that
Yeah.
driveway there. It's already really in a good spot. It's in kind of the highest elevation. It's as far away from the coastal bank as we can get, and it's also pressure dosed. So really has all the features that we would want to put in a new leaching facility in that spot.
Okay.
And the septic tank, the same, is it the same five? Currently, it's in the same place.
So instead of having the existing septic tank and pump chamber that serves the 4-bedroom dwelling, the flow is going to go right to the Advantex system. So the 2 tanks that currently serve that system would be taken out of use, and the Advantex will take the place of it.
And where will that be though?
So if you look right in between the 2 houses there, it's labeled as ST. It's a rectangular a piece right there, and it's just adjacent to the road. We put it up as close to Ellis Road as we could.
That's why you're bumping into that.
Yeah, and we figured we're coming to the Board of Health anyway for the IA, so we might as well push it 5 feet closer to the road instead of avoiding the variance.
So, Hope, can you see the cursor on the screen?
Yep.
I have the cursor right there on the tank right there.
Okay. Got it.
That's the existing leaching facility right there.
Okay.
So the variance is, it's 5 feet from the road instead of 10.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, given that that's farther away from the water side, I think that's a good idea.
That's what we were hoping you'd think, yeah.
Okay. Other questions? No?
Wait, oh, I did have the ADU. I was asking because I looked on the plans. Is this, this is it's a year round, it says year round, so it's,
The-
but it has does it have a heating system other than the wood stove?
The ADU,
Yeah,
that's a good question. I'm sure
I
it's
mean.
equipped to
it
heat
has a
year
wood
round, but I
it has
didn't
a
look
wood
into that.
stove, and some people use that for heating, but I was just wondering,
So
because
it's a proposed structure, so it has to meet current code, so it has to
It
be
has to be
heated.
heated.
Yeah.
The property owner's plans is actually to live in the ADU and then.
rent out the.
Right, exactly. That's, so they certainly plan to live there year round.
Okay.
Okay?
So, should I make a motion to?
Sure.
Does anyone have any other? We're okay? So I'll make a motion to approve these plans as presented. With the following conditions: no increase in habitable or occupiable square footage without Board of Health review and a butter notification. Any changes to the approved floor plans or septic design plans will require a Board of Health review and a butter notification. 4-bedroom, which is 3 bedrooms in the main house and a 1-bedroom ADU, deed restriction and use of IA technology using Advantex AX20 treatment to be recorded with the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds. Secondary treatment and monitoring under general use approval conditions per DEP regulations, including quarterly effluent sampling or 2 times per year for seasonal use for total nitrogen, BOD, TSS. Nitrate nitrogen not to exceed 19 milligrams per liter. Board of Health conditions to be referenced on deed restriction. Operation and maintenance agreement to be submitted to the Eastham Health Department and Barnstable County Health and Environment. Operation and maintenance contract required for the life of the system. Operator to report results to Barnstable County Health and Environment Database or directly to the Eastham Health Department if not available. Designer to verify proper operation of the system prior to the issuance of the certificate of compliance. Final inspections and startup inspections to be witnessed by the Eastham Health Department. Any sewer lines within 10 feet of municipal water supply lines to be sleeved. applicant to adhere to Town of Eastham bylaws for accessory dwellings, ADU to be rented year-round per bylaw, rental permit through the Health Department required, and the Board of Health approval valid until April 24th, 2026.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And
Right.
Thank you.
whichever unit is the one that's rented, it doesn't have to be the new one. It has to have a year-round rental, just to correct that.
Okay. You too? Oh. All right, we're signing.
You have to.
525 Campground Road, Campground Realty LLC. Yep.
For the record, Jason Ellis representing the Campground Realty LLC, and Michael Hasiotis is the owner. Mr. Hasiotis just purchased this property a few months ago. It currently has a cesspool. It's in groundwater. So we're looking to upgrade that and also hook the property up to town water. So we're looking to abandon the existing cesspool and abandon the existing well. We're proposing a new septic system on the north side of the property. The cesspool currently is on the south side of the property that's closest to the wetland. So we're moving it on the opposite side of the property, which is more elevated. It's up close to Campground Road, with a new 1,500-gallon septic tank, a Renko Advantex AX20 nitrogen reducing system, and a new leach area. It's an existing 2-bedroom house. And so we have 5 variances we're looking to receive. We're looking for an 18-foot variance for the proposed leach area to the well on parcel 362, which is the property to the east. The property to the west, parcel 360, is actually on town water. There is a wellhead still there, but it's abandoned. We're looking for a 5-foot variance from the proposed leach area to the lot line, which would be parcel 360. We're looking for a 5-foot variance from the proposed leach area to the lot line, which would be Campground Road. And we're looking for a no reserve area variance, and we're also looking for a 4-foot variance from the Eastham Board of Health regulations for the proposed leach area to land subject to coastal storm flowage. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them for you.
Thank you. So good news, one less cesspool, hopefully.
Yes.
So by moving it though from one side to the other, is that why you're getting close to the road and the property lot lines? Is that you're just butting up against those?
Yeah, similar to what the last project you just had with Jim Reedy there. We're just trying to get the leach area as far away from the resource area from the wetland as we can. There's a bordering vegetated wetland just off the south side of the property, and then there's a flood zone that also comes in on the property. So we're just trying to maximize that distance. The groundwater flow here should be east to west. So we are down gradient of that well that we're getting the variance to. So the flow would be going the opposite direction than what where the well is located. So
You mean at 515?
yeah, so there shouldn't be any adverse adverse reaction to the well to the leach area being put in that position. Okay.
That is a wetland there, but the bay is to the right there. Not-
To the
Bay
left.
is to the left. So
Yeah.
that is the direction that the groundwater is moving, away from the next door neighbor.
Yep.
We do have the option now that, if his well next door were to become contaminated, he does have the option of hooking up to town water, where we didn't have that in the past. So that
I'm sorry, say that again?
if something were to happen to the well next door, the well to the east,
Yeah.
they do have the option of hooking up to town water now that we have town water on this road. So it's kind of a safeguard, so,
That would be at their expense.
correct, yeah.
Are they here?
I didn't even ask yet. So, there was a letter submitted though, from the abutter, so I want to,
Is there butter here? maybe?
yeah, now, lost the name, sorry. Well, I would just open it up. Are there abutters, on Zoom who would like to comment on this request for, variances for 525 Campground Road? Please raise your hand and we can hear you. I see none,
And it
but
was
we did receive, a letter.
Murkowski.
Hmm?
The
That was the
letter.
only communication that we've had.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any hands raised, yeah, and nobody's, okay. Right, we did get, a communication just raising a concern about potential for future, contamination of the well as a result of the changes being made. And while you're right, that hook up to town water is an alternative that is maybe not an alternative that the abutter is interested in pursuing, so that's not.
Hydrogeologically speaking,
What?
this system is not an impact to that property as well, that the abutter communicated with you about.
Right,
You mean the geological studies show
The
that?
way water is moving under
Yeah.
the ground is
Uh-huh.
away from this property's well.
I know, my only, can I say something? Because, you know, it says, I mean, that may be true, but then it's written likely not impacted and likely flows in the easterly direction. I mean,
We
there's
know
no
it flows
guarantees.
Towards the bay, which is away from this property.
Yeah.
is there, and this is just a question, if in the future there is an issue, is there an opportunity to come back to the Board of Health, and ask for reconsideration or review of additional concerns? Is that an option available?
For the
to-
abutter?
For the abutter.
Based on your approval for this,
Mhm.
Well, I mean, I think that if there was, that would be driven by contamination of the well, so that, number one, they'd have to determine that the well is contaminated in some way, then they'd have to probably determine what the contamination, what the source of that contamination would be, which could be, I mean, I live very near here. I know that there's a lot of people that walk dogs up and down this road. So who knows whether the contamination's coming from sewage or whether it's coming from dog waste or if it's coming from the road runoff or if it's coming off. There's a lot of,
Completely agree.
There's sep-
Preservation will be incredibly difficult
yeah,
to.
and septic systems up gradient, which septic systems that are to the east are also flowing in this direction. So in this area here can sometimes have not the greatest water quality to begin with. So, I mean, a lot of these small properties here really
should be on town water.
should be on town water to begin with. So
Yeah.
I think it's inevitable that it's going to be on town water at some point. So
Is this,
Is this the only place that you can locate this, or is there any way to give more space
This-
from that property?
this is maximum feasible compliance that I can achieve. And that's what Title V asks for is maximum feasible compliance. So.
Yeah,
when,
just
are
trying
they,
to
Yeah.
give credence to the issue that
Oh,
was
sure.
raised. I'm sorry, Francie.
are, is this, are they going to connect to town water? It says proposed,
My
but
client, yes,
they are going to.
yes, yep.
Would we make that a condition?
That's
No.
fine because he's going to do it anyhow. So.
Their
fine.
well's not the issue, it's the
Yeah,
butters that are.
it's the abutter, yeah. That's not. Any other questions? Francie, you okay?
No. What?
Oh, no, I just heard.
Oh, no, I don't have any other questions.
All right, okay, all right. In that case, I will make a motion. in reflecting that we believe that maximum feasible compliance has been met, we recommend the following, that this be approved with the following conditions. No increase in habitable or occupiable square footage without Board of Health review and a butter notification. 2-bedroom deed restriction and use of IA technology using Advantix AX20 treatment is to be recorded with the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds. Secondary treatment and monitoring under general use approval conditions per DEP regulations, including quarterly effluent sampling or 2 times a year for seasonal use for total nitrogen BOD TSS. Nitrate nitrogen not to exceed 19 milligrams per liter. Board of Health conditions to be referenced on the deed restriction. The operation and maintenance agreement is to be submitted to the Eastham Health Department and the Barnstable County Health and Environment. Operation and maintenance contract is required for the life of the system. Operator is to report results to Barnstable County Health and Environment Database or directly to the Eastham Health Department if not available. Designer is to verify proper operation of the system prior to the issuance of the certificate of compliance. Final inspections and startup inspections to be witnessed by the Eastham Health Department. Any sewer lines within 10 feet of the municipal water supply lines are to be sleeved, and the Board of Health approval is valid until April 24th, 2026. And Susan?
Francie's correct. We usually do put a connection to municipal water supply as proposed on the conditions. So if we could just add that one.
Okay, yes,
Just with respect to the additional square footage, I just wanted to make sure that there was an additional plan with a proposed 3-season porch and also a bump out for the master bedroom on the house that's shown on the site plan. And I just want to make sure that that's included in your approval today, so that doesn't have to come back to you since he's planning on doing that. So
That is all part of it.
yeah.
I'm
So,
looking at it. Yeah. Proposed 3-bedroom porch. I see it.
okay.
Okay. All right, and we're adding,
Connection to
Connections
municipal
to
water
municipal
supply as
water.
proposed.
okay. All right, second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I just had, this is
Actually, I just had one more question.
Oh, okay,
Um,
sorry.
For the part that faces the abutter, is there any additional shielding that could be put in that would allay their concerns?
No, not really.
Okay, I just,
in regard to the abutter, can I just ask, will the letter be read into the minutes? And can it show that we did discuss that, that there are, it's multifactorial, what can affect their well water? So, because they're asking if they have any legal rights. So should we answer them or not?
Their legal responsibility for their well is their responsibility. And as Jason stated before, the impact to their well actually comes from abutters further
Well, that's what I
upgrading it
said,
from them.
multifactorial,
Yeah.
whatever,
So
however it's split.
This is in particular to 525 Campground Road. In regards to legal action, that would have to come at the time something were to contaminate the well, which is unlikely to be 525 Campground Road or the variances that you would or would not approve today. But so this letter is for 525 Campground. So if there was contamination of that well at some point, number one, the property could connect to town water and no more contamination. And the likelihood is that any contamination is not coming from 525 Campground.
Right, I'm just saying, can we put that, just say that we discussed this in the minutes? That's all.
Oh, yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Good. I think you're good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to vote yes.
Okay, now vote yes. Now it's all, we're all in favor. Okay, sorry. All right, 15 Beach Plum Lane, Karen Johnson Revocable Trust.
Good afternoon. For the record, Sean Riley with Ty and Bond. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
And thank you.
Great. With me is Peter Haig, the architect, and the applicant, Karen Johnson, both online. We're here before you with an upgrade to an existing system. The applicant anticipated utilizing the existing system with the reconstruction of the dwelling being a 3-bedroom and converting it to, again, a 3-bedroom and maintaining the same bedroom count. There is an increase in the square footage of the house. That being said, we've conceded to upgrade the system with IA technology. We're adding a microfast treatment unit. But in doing so, we're going from a pre-1996 pit style system that had a variance to the abutting properties to a, as you know, much broader, longer, wider system with only having the 2-foot available sidewall depth. So we are seeking variances to the foundation wall. We're seeking a 9-foot variance to the foundation wall where 20 is required. We're at 11, and we're seeking a 4-foot variance to the property line. We're not seeking any variances to any of the abutters' wells. The applicant is going on town water, and hopefully the others will be soon to follow. But we're not within the 100-foot radius of any of those wells. So again, we're maintaining the 3 bedrooms. And with that, I'll open it up to any questions you may have.
Thank you. So this is pre-existing non-conforming, right? So, let me just again, in terms of, establishing maximal feasible compliance, for the 2 variances in terms of the SAS to the property line and the SAS to the cellar wall. This is because the lot size is relatively small. Is that a fair
That is-
statement?
That is correct.
So there's no option. And are there additional protections that are put in when you're closer, say, to the cellar wall?
Yes, there is. We're adding a 40 mil poly liner at the 5-foot off of the soil absorption system in between the system and the cellar wall. So we've taken those precautions,
That's good, thank you.
and that is shown in the upper right-hand corner is the leader to it.
Oh, sorry, I do try and read all of them. Thank you. Thank you much. Do you have questions, Elena or Francie?
I don't think so.
Want a bigger plan, Francie?
Hmm?
Be a bigger one?
I mean, it's the, it's very small lot with a lot of house.
Yeah, it's a small lot.
Huh?
While Francie's looking, are there any abutters?
Oops.
Are there any abutters in the room or on Zoom who would like to make any comments or ask any questions? Okay, hearing none. Okay. Give Francie a chance to look at the big picture.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing there. I'm not exactly sure what was the increase in the habitable square foot, the habitable area of this
Yep.
house?
Approximately 900 square feet,
Of what was it? That's what I was looking for.
704.
What are they doing? They're adding what?
What's getting bigger? Yeah.
I mean, it's the same, it's still 3 bedrooms.
Yes.
So they're adding, what are they at? This is a confusing package. I was trying to see what they were adding.
Through the chair, the
It was a
architect could
demo
address that.
rebuild, right?
Huh?
I believe it was a demo rebuild, right?
Correct.
Oh, they're demolishing the house and putting a brand new house.
Correct. And the architect is online with us. If he can speak through the chair.
Good afternoon. I'm Peter Haig from Architectural Design. The main thing is we added a second floor to it. The footprint expanded slightly. It went through zoning board of appeals and site plan review. The problem with the septic system was found later on where when the existing tank was mispositioned. So we went back to the conservation, or sort of the Board of Health. And as a result, it brought us to where we are now. So there is more floor area, but it's still 3 bedrooms clearly.
Well, under your regulations, it's deemed an environmentally sensitive lot because of the small square footage of it, as
Right.
well as more than 2 abutting lots less than 20,000 square feet. So it's automatically triggered for IA because of that.
I know, because this, for 3 bedrooms with an IA, it still doesn't have enough square. footage.
Pre-existing.
Pre-existing.
But I know it's pre-existing. Oh. All right, I don't have any more questions.
No, you're good? Okay. All right. Alright.
Any butters?
I asked, no. Okay, so I do this, okay. The Board of Health determined that maximal feasible compliance has been met and recommends the approval of this with the following conditions. 1, no further increase in habitable or occupiable square footage without Board of Health review and a butter notification. A 3-bedroom deed restriction and use of IA technology using Advantix AX20 treatment is to be recorded with the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds. Secondary treatment and monitoring under general use approval conditions per DEP regulations, including quarterly effluent sampling or 2 times a year for seasonal use for total nitrogen BOD TSS. Nitrate nitrogen not to exceed 19 milligrams per liter. Board of Health conditions are to be referenced on the deed restriction. Operation and maintenance agreement is to be submitted to the Eastham Health Department and to the Barnstable County Health and Environment. Operation and maintenance contract required for the life of the system. Operators to report results to Barnstable County Health and Environment Database or directly to the Eastham Health Department if not available. Designers to verify proper operation of the system prior to the issuance of the certificate of compliance. Final inspections and startup inspections are to be witnessed by the Eastham Health Department. Any sewer lines within 10 feet of a municipal water supply lines are to be sleeved. Recommend use of an underground blower unit and that care be taken at the time of installation to maintain distance as you are able
Connection to municipal water?
from neighboring properties.
Connect-
Connection to
Water
municipal
supply as
water.
proposed. I missed it.
Connection to
Um,
municipal water supply.
Yep.
As a condition.
And this Board of Health approval is valid until April 24th, 2026. Second,
Second.
Point of clarification,
yes?
just you had mentioned a Nitro AX20 as the IA technology. We're actually calling out a microfast 0.75, so I just wanted to be clear on the technology that was.
Oh, microfast, I see that. You're
I
right.
apologize.
Yep,
No worries.
thank you for that.
Can I
Thank you
just,
for that.
also, can I just, before we go, we vote, we didn't just, are you going to use the underground blower?
Yeah.
It's a above ground blower.
Okay.
Oh, I can't see this.
What's that?
So is the blower unit is above ground or is it below?
It is above ground.
Oh, this says underground.
Yeah, no, we should,
Where does it say underground?
That was in my.
yeah, that's what I just
Oh,
said. That
all
may
right.
be an error.
Where the board's going with that is that,
Noise?
it's a noise factor, for neighboring properties and we get a lot of complaints about them.
The older ones, yes. Have you for the newer ones? I know that they've done a number of iterations of the blower unit. And I know that they've come a long way with the insulation on it. The original units that they had were very noisy.
Yeah. Are you going to be the operator of the system?
We are not. The
I guess we'll just have to
FR
see.
Mahoney would be the operator, at least for the first year anyway.
Okay, I guess we'll just have to see then.
Right, so we'll take, yeah, so just amend that to,
Yep.
take out underground. Okay,
Take that one off. Thank you.
and we'll change the Advantix to the microfast.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Are we?
I'll second it.
Okay,
Okay.
with those amendments and, connection to town water. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right,
Thank you all.
thank you very much. All right, moving right along. Dyer, 339 Dyer Prince Road. Cooper Sandy LLC.
Good afternoon, David Little from Ryder and Wilcox. We represent Cooper Sandy LLC. The property is a 27,315 square foot vacant lot located on the south side of Dyer Prince Road. It's bordered on the south and west by a salt marsh and contains approximately 25,000 square feet of buildable upland. Our clients would like to build a 2-bedroom dwelling on the upland portion of the lot. The new dwelling will be connected to town water and have a nitrogen reducing IA septic system that consists of an Advantix treatment system followed by a perchlorate drip dispersal system. The work is shown on the accompanying plans. This lot has been on the market for quite a while. We attended a meeting with the Conservation Commission 2 days ago. We most likely will be reducing the size of the house and going back to them. Just to be open about what's going on here. That being said, I'll open it up to any questions. The lot is considered a buildable lot by the town. It's being assessed at $312,000. So I'll answer any questions. Thank you.
And no variances are being requested. Just
No.
confirm, okay.
Oh, you're the, it's being built, the house is being built and then will be sold on the market?
So it's all, because it's been on the market for a long time.
The lot.
The lot. We're representing the applicant who has an agreement to purchase it from the owner.
Oh, okay.
So we're Cooper Sandy LLC is, if successful, will be buying this from the Holden Family Realty Trust.
Kind of follow
Wait,
how that
so all
flows in
that's-
time, yeah.
What? Huh?
Go ahead, go ahead.
So they're going, I don't know who they, are they going to be the occupants of the house?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yep.
All right.
All right. And
If successful, I suspect we're gonna have we have a little bit more of a difficult situation with the Conservation
Right.
Commission. So I just wanted to be transparent about that. And obviously, if we made significant changes, we would have to come back here.
yeah. So, and we would premise any approval today on Conservation Commission approval anyway, so
Understood.
one's not gonna happen without the other.
So when are you going back to conservation?
I've requested 2 weeks. I believe it's the I want to say the 13th.
And was that continued to Wednesday, to the 13th?
Yes.
So,
So I'm comfortable if you want this to continue this, I'm comfortable doing that.
that was my question, is there potential that there might be changes made, further changes made after you work with conservation?
I think there's, after the Tuesday meeting, I think there's a significant chance that the changes will be made, not necessarily to the septic system, but the dwelling and the connections and things like that.
Which could
change
impact
things.
how you organize, where you
Yes.
put things.
Exactly.
So would it be reasonable to continue this to our next meeting? Is that, wait,
So the next meeting is May 29th.
That would be fine.
Okay, so I'll make
Makes
a
more
motion
sense.
to continue this project application till the next meeting, May 29th.
you? Okay, I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
I
Okay.
know that there were abutters for
Oh,
the
there's no
conservation hearing. There,
Yeah, there's no variances requested. I don't know.
Still ask if there are any. abutters.
Okay, thank you.
We didn't hear from anybody directly.
Okay, but if there is anybody on the line who would like to make a comment at this time, please do. Please raise your hand so we can identify you. I see someone,
Yeah.
okay?
Oh, it looks like you're still on mute.
Yeah.
You're
we can't-
muted.
We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
I just a question about the procedure. We learned about this hearing because we attended the conservation hearing. We received from Ryder and Wilcox notice of the conservation hearing. Is your process to notify of hearing as well to abutters?
They are not triggered to notify abutters because, for this board, because they did not trigger any variances to local or state code.
Okay, that's all I wanted
But
to know.
we are glad you're here.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so we'll continue this until you continue to work on this.
Francie made the motion.
Oh,
I made a motion.
oh, sorry, second.
Second.
All in
We already
favor?
voted on it.
Yeah, yep. We're good.
thank you
All
very
right,
much.
thank you for your time.
I just, before you leave, sir, this is kind of a question. I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but since it's so close, this property is like right it's right on the water, right? Would it, in addition, I don't know if, in addition to a nitrogen reducing system, would a phosphorus eliminating system be at all helpful to our water?
I'm a surveyor, not an engineer, but I think when you're in a saltwater embayment like this, I don't think phosphorus
It's not
is
the
as big a
It's for
concern.
the fresh water. Yeah,
Why we have two now on our herring pond,
right. Okay, I was just,
because it's saltwater body.
okay,
Okay, thank you.
All right. Number 7, 10 Hideaway Lane, Teresa Martin. And Laura, I see.
Yes. Good afternoon. For the record, I'm Laura Schofield from Schofield Brothers, and I'm representing Teresa Martin, the property owner of 10 Hideaway Lane. And also before you with Teresa today is Mariana Gresti, who's the architect working on this project. And so 10 Hideaway Lane has an existing 5-bedroom septic system, which includes a Septitech processor, which is an innovative alternative technology, in the ground already. This septic system was serving a previously existing 4-bedroom house and a 1-bedroom cottage. In March of 2023, these dwellings, well, the house was burned down in a fire. And so since then, Teresa's been dealing with the red tape and the insurance company and an overwhelming number of other things, trying to get to the point of rebuilding her home. And I think Marianne told me that she's had to redesign this thing 3 times because the replacement value today does not equate with today's construction costs. But happily, here we are before you with a 1-bedroom rebuilt cottage and the proposed dwelling to replace the house that was burned down. This will be a 1-story, 3-bedroom dwelling. And these new structures will simply be connected to the existing septic system. And we're before the board today because that existing septic system has IA technology. And just a couple items to note that the new structures are going where the old structures were. You can see it's a small lot and there's really not a lot of other places for them to go. The SeptiTech processor just had all 3 of its pumps replaced, so it's in good shape and ready to go. And when the Board of Health originally approved the septic system that's in the ground now, it needed 3 variances from private wells for the setbacks to the proposed leaching area. And since that time, town water's come along and all 3 of those wells that we needed setbacks for have been discontinued because the houses have been connected to town water. So those variances of the past have disappeared. And that's pretty much it. We're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. All right. Questions to?
No questions other than to say we're sorry to hear about all of your tribulations. with this.
Yeah, too bad. Nancy, do you have questions? I don't have any questions.
This is just a very minor question, but in that this plan for the study with the cased opening,
Oh, yes, I did communicate with Laura on that one. The plans show as a study, but it is the 3rd proposed bedroom of the main house. It's not a study, it's a bedroom. It will have privacy. So 3 in the main house, 1 in the cottage.
okay.
Which is the same as it was.
It was 5. It was 4 in
Oh,
the main
5.
house and 1,
Oh,
so
yeah.
we're going down. That's
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I have no other questions.
Okay. You wanna?
I just want to make sure that, since you've noted that where the intention of the application is to maintain the 5, and she would have the right to have a 5th bedroom, perhaps a 2nd floor, if means allowed for that.
That's not, that would not be applicable here. If you do not rebuild to what was existing, it's not grandfathered.
So.
And that goes purely to the size of the lot.
Yeah.
Even though the system was designed and approved for 5.
I'm in a rock and hard place because I'm not, it's insurance company.
Uh-huh.
so.
Yeah, that's. So we would be approving the plans that are before us today.
Right, which is
As
a
they
4-bedroom,
are.
which is a 3-bedroom main house and a 1-bedroom cottage for a total of 4 bedrooms on this 8,740 square foot lot where there once was 5. But now your proposal is 4, so you are removing your grandfathering. Or you're still pre-existing non-conforming even with what you're proposing now. But you do not retain.
Right, unless you want to not do this today and, but what we have before us to approve of,
You could continue it and come back to
Yeah,
us.
if
again
you
with
want to do that, but.
I don't think we
Before.
want, I'm sorry, through the chair, I don't think Teresa has the time to continue this, with respect to
The
the
energy.
insurance company. So perhaps this whole conversation could be tabled for another time, because we don't have the time, to continue it another month.
That's
Okay.
fine, as long as everyone understands
Right.
that as of the approval for this 3-bedroom main house and 1-bedroom cottage, it's not grandfathered for 5 anymore.
No, I know, but there's no choice.
Okay, so should we make I'll make a motion to approve this project as presented with the following conditions. No increase in habitable or occupiable square footage without Board of Health review. Any proposed changes or modifications to the approved floor plans or septic design plans require Board of Health review. 4-bedroom, a 3-bedroom main house and a 1-bedroom cottage, deed restriction and use of IA technology using Septitech M550 processor treatment to be recorded with the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds. Secondary treatment and monitoring per DEP regulations, including quarterly effluent sampling or 2 times per year for seasonal use for total nitrogen, BOD, TSS, nitrate nitrogen not to exceed 19 milligrams per liter. Board of Health conditions to be referenced on deed restriction. Operation and maintenance agreement to be submitted to the Eastham Health Department and Barnstable County Health and Environment. Operation and maintenance contract required for the life of the system. Operator to report results to Barnstable County Health and Environment Database or directly to the Eastham Health Department if not available. What is O&M current?
O&M is, so it has a current.
Oh, that's your
system,
current,
so
you
it's
have
like-
O&M is your current,
I just wanted you to know and
Oh,
the
okay.
applicant to know that I know and we know that the O&M is current.
O&M is current, okay. Septic permit required for proposed work connecting system to new dwelling. Any sewer lines within 10 feet of municipal water supply lines to be sleeved and Board of Health approval valid until April 24th, 2026.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Sorry that happened.
80 Northwest Street, Brian and Brianna SEPPALA.
Yeah.
All right.
Hmm.
You ready?
So again, Jason Ellis, representing Brianna and Brian SEPPALA. So Brian and Brianna, they built this house a few years ago as a 3-bedroom house. And then they subsequently built a 1-bedroom ADU on the property. The property is just a little over 30,000 square feet. We put in a Renco Advantex AX20 system in under provisional use for the additional bedroom. What they're looking to do now is they're just looking to finish off a portion of the existing basement in the main house with an exercise room, a rec room, and a craft room. The entire basement is below grade, so there's no windows particularly where the exercise room is. That's all farmer's porch on the outside of that house, so there's no windows or any way no light or egress into that room. And then there's 2 unfinished areas, one on the lower left-hand side and then also on the upper right-hand side. And then there's just a standard bulkhead that goes out the back. So they're just looking for permission. Any increase in habitable square footage requires your review.
Yep.
So.
Okay. Well, we appreciate this.
Yeah,
Thank you
seems-
for doing this.
Yep.
Seems straightforward. It doesn't meet our definition, so that is that. Okay, so no variances. Should we make a motion?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion. All right, I would approve of this increase with the following conditions. Again, no further increase in habitable or occupiable square footage without Board of Health review. Any proposed changes or modifications are to be to the approved floor plans or septic design plans require Board of Health review. 4 bedrooms, 3-bedroom main house, 1-bedroom cottage, deed restriction and use of IA technology using Septatech M550 processor treatment to be recorded with the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds. Secondary treatment and monitoring for DEP regulations, including quarterly effluent sampling or 2 times per year for seasonal use for total nitrogen BOD TSS. Nitrate nitrogen not to exceed 19 milligrams per liter. Board of Health conditions to be referenced on the deed restriction. Operation and maintenance agreement to be submitted to the Eastham Health Department and Barnstable County Health and Environment. Operation and maintenance contract required for the life of the system. Operated to report results to Barnstable County Health and Environment Database or directly to the Eastham Health Department if not available. Operation and maintenance is current. Finished basement space is not to be used as a bedroom. And Board of Health approval is valid until April 24th, 2026.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just a clerical thing.
Yeah.
That's got an Orenco Advantech system. It's not, doesn't have a septic tech in it, but not that
Oh,
that
right.
matters. Not that that matters to me. But that's okay.
Oh, okay, that's. not
That's,
good
that's,
then. Yeah, no, it,
With the Renko.
It doesn't affect anything, but I
okay,
just want to.
Yeah,
Okay.
so their deed restriction is current. That was just paperwork, right?
fine,
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
not a problem.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
All right. That's number 8.
What happened?
Oh,
Oh, my
good luck.
goodness.
It's.
They're, I know many people sadly with new hips and it's all good.
Yeah.
It-
I can't wait.
It'll be a bit of a recovery, but it'll be good. So,
Kind of miserable right now.
oh, well then definitely. Okay.
You
where
get,
are we up
you're
to?
getting it at Cape Cod Hospital?
Brigham and Women's.
Good for
Good
you.
idea.
Good for you.
I can say that because I work here.
We're up to reduction request 55 Rolling Lane.
Well,
Yes.
good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Expect to see you next month
Yep.
running in here.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, you can run.
maybe. All right, we are up to a reduction request for 55 Rolling Lane. A request the year-round property. And they would like to reduce sampling to 2 times a year. We have the numbers. And
Yes.
so I did look at them. I think they all look good.
Everything looked good.
Excepting for one.
One
month, right?
aberrant.
One outlying.
One outlier, but everything else was really well below.
The
what
one
our standard
outlier,
is.
and it was 2 years ago. So.
So I would
Make
be,
a
in-
motion.
go ahead.
Wait, hold on a second. This is a year round.
Yeah.
Year round house.
Mhm.
So so for the year round occupied houses, we're asking for, what are we asking for? May and October? No. what are we doing?
Last time we had a year-round one, we had discussed maybe doing it in the spring and the fall. As opposed to the May and September, we usually ask for seasonal ones. 2 times a year.
Like
So-
March and October.
Okay,
Okay.
March and October.
go for it.
Okay, I recommend that the Board of Health approve the reduction request. Recommend that the following conditions be met. Effluent sampling to be conducted 2 times per year in the months of March and October. Effluent sample results to be uploaded to the Barnstable County Department of Health and Environment IA database or forwarded to the Eastham Health Department, not available. Property owner to maintain an operation and maintenance contract for the life of the system.
Second,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi. Okay, and then we have another request for a reduction.
Great, thank you.
Oh, you're
Oh, you're
welcome.
welcome.
Sorry, we can't see you up there.
Although I'm sorry about that.
Thank you for attending.
I appreciate it. Be there in person, but I'm waiting for the gas commissioner to show up, so.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
All right, now we have a second reduction request for 18 Beach Plum Lane. Gary, I see you're up there. If you want to say anything, your numbers look good.
And we have a lot of data on this.
You'll-
Years and years and years of data. This is one of our earliest systems that went in 2008-ish.
Wow.
Well, it
With
looks
the
like it's,
exception of a bizarre 11/10/2020, everything else looks good. So it seems reasonable to reduce it to twice a year. And
this is a seasonal house, right?
yes, we would do May. and September.
I believe that it is.
Well, Jim's on the phone.
I think the owner's on the
I think the owner's on the Zoom.
I am. Was there a question? I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
Oh, is this seasonal? Is this,
It's,
where do you live?
it's seasonal, but it's becoming more and more year round every year. So we're there, you
A
know,
lot.
full time, 5-6 months out of the year, pretty much at this point.
You still would be good with May and September.
May and September. Okay. All right.
Now, can I request that, I believe they've already done an inspection in March or April. Can that cover the, as opposed to having to do one next month?
Yeah, the last sample we have was from February 24th, 2025.
That's just a little older than I thought.
Oh, he's asking if you would
need
use
some more?
that as one of the 2025 ones.
That's just start in September. If they were.
So then you would want. When are you in the property? Like, are you here in the winter? Or are you here only in the spring and summer, fall?
Yeah, my wife is there full time, pretty much from this time of year to the end of September. And then we're there during the winter, so it's a year round house and we're there frequently, but we're not there, every day. And if you want us to start in May, I don't mind. I was just trying, the whole purpose of my request is just to try to save some money because it's getting so expensive.
So the last year-round one that you just did was, you asked for March and October, so you could use the February as the March and then get another one in October, and then every year from now on in March and October.
Yeah,
Is
does
that
that sound?
okay? Are you still there?
Yeah, that's okay with me. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right.
Okay, so why don't we do that?
So that's, okay, so we're gonna recommend that the Board of Health approve the reduction request with the following conditions. That the effluent sampling be conducted 2 times a year in the months of March and October. The effluent sample results are to be uploaded to the Barnstable County Department of Health and Environment IA database or forwarded to the Eastham Health Department if not available. Property owner is to maintain an operation and maintenance contract for the life of the system. Second,
I'll second.
thank you. In favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, you're all set, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, moving on to minutes.
No, what about Eversource? Is that on our?
That's under
agenda?
other business. I'm just going down through the agenda.
Okay, you want to do minutes before other business?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's how the agenda is.
all right.
I'm just following the
Okay,
agenda. Do we have, well, first, are there any comments on the January, March minutes? And if not, we need to vote to approve to accept them.
I don't
But-
think that we have a quorum to approve the March minutes, but we do for the January minutes.
Thank you.
Because I wasn't there.
Thank you. Oh,
Aw,
you're so
Susan.
kind, Susan.
Thank you.
So January. I do not have any comments on January. I'm ready to. Okay, so can we Trent, did you have comments on the
I thought the
January?
minutes were perfect.
Awesome. Okay, so I'd like to make a
Fancy.
motion to accept the January?
January we can, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
March we can't.
right.
Got it.
So I'm gonna make a motion to accept the January minutes as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that's done. Now we move on to other business.
Okay, hold, may I, this was probably a mistake. It was in my board package. And with, and this was nothing that I know that we were talking about. I don't know why. It's just got in there.
Oh.
Oops.
Is
Oops.
that something I put in your packet by accident?
I think this is one of Alex's emails. That was it. Thank you. Here, I'll trade you. It's just the minutes. If
Okay.
All right, so what other business do we have? I know that we.
We have some other business for you in your packets, one of which is notification from Eversource notifying you of the intent to selectively apply herbicides along the power lines and the rights of way that pass through Eastham. It's a standard legal notification that they give you every year. In previous years, you have written a letter. If that's something you wish to do, you can certainly do it again. We can facilitate that for you in our office if you'd like.
We wrote a letter, what, saying we object?
Mhm.
Which you do.
Yeah.
Or did.
But, so what happens, I mean, there's been, I don't remember doing this in previous years, getting, I mean, I've been on the board for a bunch of years. I don't remember,
I don't know if I ever got that pretty map that we do now.
this pretty map.
It's very pretty map.
Of where it's
But
gonna be
we have
applied.
always been notified and you guys have always done a letter.
Okay. Cause I mean, there was like a
We're
whole,
able to hold it at bay for a very, very long time.
did
That
they
might be
do
what you're
this last
remembering.
year? I mean, I know there was a big, like, Outer Cape hue and cry about this a number of years ago, and they were instructed that they had to just mow the stuff down, not
So
put
that's what I
herbicide on
was
it.
referring to, that the towns were able to hold them at bay for a good number of years,
But now,
but now that's done.
did
So
they
now
do
they
this
are
last
legally
year?
notifying you of their intent that they will be spraying along the rights of way.
I wonder if we could write a letter, it doesn't say stop spraying, but,
I
can you
dig up the
spray
letter
with,
that you,
but, and mitigate any potential negative impact of the people who live along there and walk?
You
and
You mean if
Are
I
they
get
starting again
cancer?
because the law changed or because the hole that they agreed to was over?
yes,
Okay,
The
so we
time
can
period is
request,
over.
we can request that
Yes.
that be extended, right, in the letter,
no,
or,
it's done,
huh?
No,
done.
It's done?
You
Can't
can,
do
you
that.
can voice your opposition in a letter.
Cause it says here, like, it says public comment closed, May 23rd. It says on the here.
Can you draft a letter and
I can dig
send
up-
it to us by
we
email
can-
for
We can
approval?
look for the one that was most recently sent and signed by the Board of Health. I
That would be
believe
good.
That one
That
was
would be
just
good.
as powerful as anything you could do
Okay,
now,
good.
if that works for you guys.
that works for me. Okay.
So just to, so we send a letter both to the, this Department of Agricultural Resources and to Eversource?
That I don't know.
Why don't we?
We certainly could.
I mean, we have his name and address right here.
Right there.
Because I mean, I don't know who else would, I mean, we could write to the DEP. I mean, it would be
Could.
useless, but just, I mean, they wouldn't do anything.
No.
But if you want to be on
These are-
record.
These are
yeah.
the people, Eversource and perhaps the trust that you're, sorry, the other.
Could we write to the Attorney General?
We were successful in holding them at bay for a great many years. And that time has passed, so.
But why can't we continue, why does that give them the right to now poison us?
It doesn't. It doesn't.
When you say the time has passed, based on what?
The timeframes that they were given for the process that they were doing, which was the cutting and not the spraying. And the process that went along with that.
And is there any reason why a new agreement can't be done?
Hillary, you want to comment on your experience in Wellfleet, maybe?
Sure, we've tried a number of times. The Department of Agriculture, they're really the ones that regulate the pesticides. It's sort of, the best we can do at this point is write a letter expressing our opposition because of the wetland resources and the drinking water wells and the effects of pesticides on people. And just register that. They believe at this point that they have no other options for certain types of vegetation. We're working with them in one part of town right now where they were proposing to completely remove trees. And so we've asked that they prune and trim wherever possible. So we may have an audience to talk with us, but we might not. So I think we send the letter as our first step. And when we have them out to the site, I think we're going next week or the week after, we can take that opportunity to talk with them about this as well.
They're coming,
That makes some sense.
Yeah.
you're gonna be walking in Eastham with them?
Not on the right of way that you have in front of you, on a smaller section that's abutting a marsh.
Oh,
So for the Conservation Commission and their purview of that marshy area, right?
Well, what happened there is there were just some trees flagged in the right of way, and a couple of neighbors had called, and so we called Phil Burt, who's now their community engagement leader, and he agreed to meet with us on the site. So I would take that opportunity to talk with him and see if there's anything else we can do in the, in addition to sending the letter. But my guess is they have certain areas that they need to treat with the pesticides to keep the vegetation down from the power lines, and this is their proposal, and mowing is no longer doing the trick.
Okay, so you'll share a letter with us.
We'll find the letter.
Okay.
It must be somewhere. And we can redraft it and then send it to you guys along. Yep.
Great.
Okay, and then the other business, Sam and Alex worked on a cesspool waiver, septic inspection waiver. Hillary and Sam, you wanna discuss it?
Sure, I can talk about it. This was a form we had used in Wellfleet when properties transfer. Sometimes they don't have the money up front to put in the septic system until the property transfers. And so we would have this form, which becomes a legal form and holds people accountable and responsible for the upgrade within 6 months of the property closing. I think it would save us on some enforcement on our end if people could just sign the agreement up front to agree to upgrade it after they take control of the property. So we wanted you to lay some eyes on that and get your thoughts on that.
so this would go to, along with real estate documents?
Yeah, so a lot, I would say it doesn't necessarily happen a lot anymore, but we've had a handful of situations where the money wasn't there from the seller to upgrade the system. And so it becomes difficult to get the upgrade done. But if we had a legal document forcing the new buyer to upgrade the system within a certain amount of time, that's a legal document that makes our job a little bit easier on the enforcement end. So they sign it, and then the buyer agrees to do the upgrade after they take control of the property.
I like it.
Yeah, it seems
I
nice
like
and
it,
simple
yeah.
and direct.
Yeah. I don't know, town attorney
So-
wants to look at this stuff, or I'm guessing, I don't know.
Yeah, we can send it to him for sure. We used it in
Yeah.
Wellfleet, and I think we copied it word for word.
Yeah. No, yeah, I can think of reasons to do it. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then Sam collected up some regulations for towns, so you could see what they had by way of cesspool regulations. And then there was some research done in a research document in your packet, so I don't know if you all had
So,
time.
Hillary, they did not
Yep.
have the regulations yet in their packets because you were looking at
Okay.
them. So we can certainly send them, we can scan everything again and put all of it in like a packet together and send it out
Well,
to
my
you even
thought-
prior.
My thought was gonna be that we hold up on this discussion until after town meeting. So I'm sure you all saw that there's going to be a special town meeting in June for a collection and treatment system, which I'd like to present on at our next Board of Health meeting. And I don't know that I want to commingle the cesspool discussion with the sewer discussion. I want to show you a map so that you can see the number of cesspools in the proposed sewer district, because that might change the way you feel about the regulations. So I think what I'd like to do is share the regulations and come back to a discussion after the special town meeting for collection and treatment, because I don't want to muddy the waters and confuse the public.
So would that be sometime in July, like the July?
So I think
Board of
in
Health meeting?
July,
Yep.
yeah, if we could discuss the cesspool regulations in July, we'll give you all this material. It's, it's lengthy, there's a lot of it. Mull it over, and then in July, we could have a reasonable discussion. In May, we would have a presentation on the collection and treatment system.
So wait, I'm sorry, there's gonna be a special town meeting about the about sewering?
Sewer project.
Yes, yes.
When was that announced?
The select board talked about it on Thursday, and they've sent out some messaging today, and there will be more messaging to come. There was an article in the Independent about it that came out today also.
There's some problem with the communications here. I mean, not everyone in this town reads the Independent, and that's how we get our information. I mean, that's something
Be on the
wrong with
town
that.
website as well.
But I mean,
It's
people
on the
don't-
town website.
No, you don't go, I mean, we all got a warrant in the mail. They should send out something in the mail, the
Well,
township.
I would imagine it's going, because it's a special town meeting, won't
They
it go
have
out
to
in June?
notify people.
Yes.
Yeah, they
Because
will.
this is
Yes.
the first I heard of that. Okay.
Yeah, it was a last minute decision actually, because we were not on the original SRF funding list. And then we provided testimony, so it didn't make it to the regular town meeting because we had pulled it off the town meeting because we didn't receive the funding. And at that same time, when they put out the list for the SRF, which is the state revolving fund, they changed the rules for the lending, and they determined that they were not going to guarantee funding for projects over multi-years, and they would only give you $50 million. And then it was no guarantee you would get the rest of the funding for your project. So there was a lot of testimony submitted by folks across the Commonwealth that for projects that were in the queue, you can't partially fund them because we would never be able to get a town meeting approval to fund them. So they agreed, the state agreed to allow the projects in the queue to be guaranteed funding for their full project. And so if we don't have a commitment from town by June 30th, then we don't have a guarantee to fund the entire project. So we had hoped to have information back from the state about the funding prior to the warrant closing for the May town meeting so that we could have put it on there and started our outreach. And we didn't want to start outreach and then stop outreach because that's kind of makes people feel uneasy also. So it's just unfortunate about the timing, but if we don't go for it now, we may never get the same guarantee in the future. So that's why it sort of feels rushed. We're holding a number of information sessions coming up with the neighborhoods and with the public. The select board talked about it Thursday night, like I said, and there's going to be a push through the news flash that gets emailed out to people You do have to sign up for that on the town website. So if you're not signed up for that, you should sign up for that. It's going to be on the social media information sessions. Jackie and Rich and I are going to be hosting office hours at the library. Jackie and Rich have already started hosting theirs and talking about these things. So communication again is the most difficult part of the job, and getting the word out to all the people of the community. We're trying everything we know. There's a podcast that's coming for folks that like podcasts. There's going to be video, but we have not done the strong push because we weren't sure about the funding.
Okay. So,
Thank you.
yes, thank you.
So the,
Yeah.
the strong
Thank you,
push
Hillary.
is coming.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and it was, yeah.
So, if the people who are living within the sewering district who have cesspools, that's going to be, that they'll be taken care of.
Exactly. And we have a map. We have several maps, obviously, but we have one map that we just created that shows the cesspools in the sewer district and the rest of town. But I think it's important when we think about, where do we want to have these upgrades if we want a phased approach. My suggestion would obviously be those in the sewer district are treated differently. I'd like us to look at properties surrounding wetland resources, those with drinking water wells. Our environmentally sensitive lots would obviously come first.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just, my best recommendation, but I want you to mull over what other towns have done to see, maybe you prefer something else. Maybe you want to do it all in one fell swoop. There are choices and options.
So tabling cesspool discussions until at least July meeting,
Okay.
Yep.
Board of Health meeting.
Well, we certainly have had many months to think about.
So many months.
Yeah, we have.
But we'll get you the regulations and the research sooner rather than later, so you can obviously review them, and then we can have, a well-grounded conversation when we
Okay.
circle back to it.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hillary.
Anything else?
Just if there's nothing else, it's 5 o'clock.
I'll make a motion.
Next
Oh, wait, one more thing, unless you
Yeah.
talked about it in the beginning. The
What?
measles clinic, did you cover the measles?
We did not.
No.
Thank you, Hillary.
Okay, May 7th, at Nauset High School, we're having a measles vaccination clinic, from
Awesome.
3:30 to 6. That should be being pushed out by the news flash. Also, it's on the town website. The county's doing, the PR on that, but there's a number of different populations that should consider getting revaccinated or vaccinated. So it's open to anyone in the Nauset district that wants to come and get a vaccine. There's an online registration system. If people are having difficulty registering, we can certainly walk them through that process. So it's a
Has
good
there been
opportunity.
any identified measles cases in Massachusetts or in our area?
Not yet in our area.
That's great, though. I, for one, will be there.
Excellent.
Yeah,
You'll be there for what?
measles, because of the year I was born. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
The year you were born. 'Cause I asked my PCP if it was recommended for people in my, in my age
Huh.
group, and he said not necessarily. He said
You're a
no.
different age, that's
No.
all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
I asked him if we should get, if it would be recommended to get titers. He said no.
Okay.
Well, I guess, maybe there's different trains of thought on it. I'm looking for the flyer that had the years. Okay, the measles, do you need a vaccine? If you were born before 1957, you probably do not need a vaccine because you were probably exposed to the measles. If you were vaccinated between 1957 and 1962, that's a maybe. Check with your doctor. If you were vaccinated between 1963 and 1967, yes, you need a vaccine. The the measles vaccine you received is considered ineffective and you will need another dose. If you were vaccinated between 1968 and 1989, that's a maybe, check with your doctor. And if you were vaccinated after 1989, that's a no. You received 2 doses and your vaccines are considered effective. So depending on the year you were vaccinated, that's sort of the hierarchy of what the county is suggesting through CDC.
Oh, that's
It's very
excellent.
interesting. I haven't heard that in the press, so that's
Yeah.
fascinating data.
It's on our website. Again, I don't know who checks our website or reads our website, but the information
You
is
think
there.
that
If
would, we could get that, speaking of the Provincetown Independent, maybe we could get that in the paper. For,
Yeah, I think that the county is going to be doing that.
oh, good.
That was their intention.
All right. Okay.
All right. Motion to
Motion.
adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you, everybody.